Hey folks, hope you're doing well. Got more Revival 3 for you all. My name is Wild Rumpus, and this is round 4. Kind of another random game I chose, because I figure, like, the players that we all know, the ADVers, the Furdazis, and whatnot, they're going to get plenty of coverage later on in the tournament, so we may as well cover some of these early round stars, I suppose. And that being said, I mean, the two players on the screen here may as well be stars that I just don't know. I don't know people that well. But we've got Mangoose 49 versus Dr. Dirty Dave. Two great aliases, I must say. But yeah, in round 4, both of these players are 3-0 going into this. So one of them will lose that perfect winning streak, but one of them will walk away 4-0, which is definitely an impressive record so far. Definitely better than I've been doing. But yeah, let's get right into game 1 here. And it's going to be a Skarm versus Mence lead. Skarmory very much actually usually likes clicking the spike there, accepting the Fire Blast, but no. Dave decides to switch out into a shiny Blissey. You always have to get a little scared with the those shiny Blissies, because sometimes it's that sample team with the Fire Blast Blissey. I don't know what other moves it carries, but it's Blissey on Blissey. Double Toxic miss. Double T-Bolt finds the Para here. Probably not super consequential. Well, does full Para on what was probably just another Toxic click. Skarm is maybe scouting for, maybe scared of that potential Fire Blast, who knows. But in comes Suicune. Finally, a spike goes down. And Suicune going to chunk Skarmory here for just about 60%, roaring in the spinner, which will just switch out on, yep, a Toxic click from Skarm, who's chip healing a little bit here. Pert enters on a Fire Punch. Are we going to see a burn? We do not. And Jirachi clicks Toxic. So Swampert now on a timer. Earthquake is not a super common move to pair with Refresh, so that Pert may be on a timer for sure. And very much a defensive Jirachi, revealing all 4 moves now. Now, of course, Swampert not the most useful Pokemon for Dirty Dave to have here, just because we've seen all 6 from Mangoose. As Sand now enters the field, we've seen all 6. There's no rock type spamming rock moves. That is kind of the main thing Swampert is trying to check. Claydol entering on a Focus Punch, going to take 31%. And a Focus Punch T-Tar probably going to be more physically oriented, so more likely to have Hidden Power Bug to potentially catch that Claydol later on in the game. Didn't go for it here, as Skarmory just click and roar. So at the moment, I mean, position is relatively equal, but Dr. Dirty Dave does have the spike down. Mangoose not able to have that quite yet, but honestly, it's probably like plenty of opportunities to get that spike down. Maybe with the lack of spin blocking, Mangoose is just deciding, hey, I'd just rather get damage here, as opposed to just giving up free spins to Starmie, giving Starmie entry, stuff like that. And so far, we are looking like Dr. Dirty Dave. I mean, this team could very well be that TSS sample team. Oh, okay. That's a little scary. Yeah, it is Sleep Talk. So if that Suicune had rolled a Surf, it can roll Surf here. Oh, Jesus. That Skarm would go down. We saw the +1 Surf doing just about 60% earlier. But if this is that team from Dave, then last mon is going to be Gengar. And yeah, Fire Blast, Blissey, Roar, T-Tar. I don't really know much about the rest of the sets. Okay, Starmie click and T-Wave here into the Jirachi Protect. And the Sleeping Suicune is going to enter. Now, if this Starmie only has Thunder Wave, or rather only has Surf as its attacking move, then... Okay, there's the Gengar. So it is Big 5 Starmie from Dave. And Mangoose, I don't really know if this team has a name, but definitely a slower-paced team. Yeah. I think it's not ridiculous to call it stally necessarily. Nonetheless, Blissey going to enter in, and Gengar insta-booming. Or, I say insta-booming, but Dave actually taken some time to figure out that turn. Really wondering whether it was worth pulling the trigger or not. So, Blissey is down now for sure. And now Starmie can throw out a T-Wave. Nope, just going to be doubling into Skarmory as Suicune receives the Wish. And I believe the Suicune is just about ready to wake up. Yep, it does. Click Surf. 40% to Skarm, who clicks Spike. So Dave is now going to need to find a switch into the Suicune, which might... Nope, just goes for the Surf. Blissey has revealed Toxic. But, I mean, Toxic... Blissey against a Rest Talk Suicune. It's not really an answer. Yeah, has it revealed? It has not revealed the fourth move, which would normally be Seismic Toss here, but again, I kind of suspect this might be that TSS sample team with Fire Blast Blissey. In which case, this Suicune is a huge threat, because yep, there is the Surf. And that was pretty much on pace with what you would have expected. I think it's 1 in 3 to roll the Surf, and that Suicune did go for 3 rolls against the Skarmory. The third one is the Surf, finds the kill. And, I mean, how's Suicune not just going to run away with the game here, right? As someone who is a Big 5 Starmie enjoyer, I will say that it is weak to Suicune. Specifically, Sleep Talk Suicune, because you can't just consistently roar it out. And a lot of the time you have to predict that rest turn and get things right there. Focus Punch on the switch, so at least Suicune is going to be kept low here, but again, with Blissey not even having S-Toss, it's hard to imagine that Suicune doesn't just come back in later and win at some point. Mangoose does have a lot of options here. Claydol enters on a Surf though, so that's going to be bad. May go down. Jirachi is a good answer for the Starmie and the Blissey, but does let in T-Tar, which in turn could get scared out by Mence. I still think there's plenty of resources here for Mangoose to close things out, but it's not a foregone conclusion quite yet. Wish floating now, and Jirachi does get paralyzed, but with it being a toxic Jirachi, okay, it's going to be Suicune catching the Wish. Good recipient. That's going to be quite nice. How many turns has that Suicune burned? No turns. Okay. Skarm taking a chunk actually here from the Rock Slide. But, okay, Spike goes down now. Blissey enters, and going to be switching out into Suicune on what is the Fire Blast. For the record, I don't know sample. I just know this sample team, and that's it. Because I remember playing with when I first started playing Gen 3, playing with the shiny Blissey. I'm like, why is the Blissey the shiny one? And then I started noticing, like, hey, do people realize that my shiny Blissey is the one with Fire Blast? Nevertheless, yeah. Skarm is still in. Blissey getting roared in. Fire Blast is going to connect here on a Drill Peck. Okay. Now it's worth mentioning that the fact that Jirachi has Toxic means that it's a massive threat, actually, because normally if it were a defensive Jirachi with Fire Punch Body Slam rather than Toxic, obviously you have the Wish and the Protect, then T-Tar can kind of just wall it. Skarm going down here. You can maybe fish for a Fire Punch burn, but even then, it's doing so little damage. But if you can catch that T-Tar with and I'm actually quite surprised that Mangoose found a spin there, actually, after switching that Claydol into a Surf. So well played there. Maybe Dave was scared of a Boom. Okay, but now Suicune is in danger. Might just be clicking Rest here. Trying to oh, but the crit, that is huge. Now it's kind of up in the air, because the Parajirachi is not going to be super consistent. I'm taking 30%. Yeah, there we go. Suddenly, this is looking like a much more even game. Okay, Wish goes out, but you still need to land a Protect for Jirachi to survive here. And that does not... But Dave doesn't go for it! Wow. Clicking Recover. I would say that's potentially a mistake there. I mean, you have the chance to just... I don't know what the odds are of a full para, like 1 in 4, 1 in 3, something like that. I mean, you have the odds there to just take out the one defensive linchpin and clean up after. And yeah, didn't even go for it. On top of the fact that, like, what is entering to scare you out, right? Mence doesn't want to get parried. Claydol is within surf range. So, yeah, I think that was a big turn. And now Tar being toxic is a big deal. There's mind games with Intimidate cycling, whether you want to click Earthquake or Rock Slide. Jirachi does stay in for the Wish, but now T-Tar is officially on that timer. And we know there's no Aromatherapy. Blissey's already revealed all 4 moves. So it does kind of seem like things have stabilized for Mangoose after Jirachi was able to get back to health. And yeah, so I imagine there's going to be a lot of Natural Cure spamming here between the Blissey and the Starmie, because Jirachi doesn't really have a way to break through either of them. But it at least landed the Toxic on Tar earlier, so like anytime T-Tar comes in, it is getting worn down eventually. Okay, Blissey now entering on the Wish. Fire Blast shouldn't KO here. Unless it crits. Okay, that was actually closer than I was expecting. Blissey now on the timer, but man, I don't know if you want to take another Fire Blast. Blissey's only used... Oh, actually used 5 of them. Okay, 6th one misses, which is probably like around on par with the odds. If I were to just say, I mean, I know it's 85%, and I know that 1 in 5 is 80% technically, whatever, who cares? So I guess it was actually, it was overdue, perhaps, if it landed 5 in a row. I don't know. Maybe one of them, who cares? Who cares at all? Okay, Starmie back in, click and recover. Again, more of this Natural Cure cycling. Now the question here is Claydol faster than Blissey? Because if you can get Claydol in with Blissey, then you're threatening that boom. Which, oh, and T-Tar actually. This is an interesting switch in. Because if T-Tar stays for a turn, then it's taking permanent Toxic Chip that it cannot get back. And it does do that. So that's 12% gone. I suppose 6% because it got 2 turns of leftovers. And one of those turns got counteracted. One of them it took 12%. Nevertheless, though, yeah, I mean, every little bit counts. And I feel like as Dave, you really have no reason not to just be going between Blissey and Starmie, trying to para hacks down the Jirachi. Because if you can you can just long-term stall this thing, right? There's no spikes on your side, so you can just switch back and forth as you see fit. You obviously don't want to get caught out with the wrong Mon in front of a switch-in from Mangoose. But, yeah, I think overall you're kind of comfortable with this. And honestly, I'm surprised that Dave is even like using this PP this early on. Because again, this Jirachi... Yeah, and now Tar entering. This is just permanent damage on Tar. When there's really no real pressure being applied from Jirachi. Okay, like a Focus Punch, sure. That damage is just gonna get healed off, though. And it kind of feels like Dave is feeling more pressure in the situation than there actually is. Because this Jirachi has really no real way to touch Blissey or Starmie outside of clicking Toxic. Maybe burn long term, but it's got 6 wishes left. It has 10 Toxics left. So, yeah, at this point, looks like Dave is catching on to the fact that, hey, I really don't need to be wasting health on T-Tar. I don't need to be wasting PP. I just need to keep my Pokemon healthy and just keep, burning this Jirachi out of PP. But yet again, the Tar entry. It's like, I just don't know what this achieves, Sure, you get Earthquake Chip. You get the full para, but you still need to... okay, Mence enters now. Yeah, and now Tar is getting quite low. Remember, this T-Tar was probably at 70-80%, and it's lost 50% to Toxic Chip just on what I would consider kind of unnecessary entries. Okay, and Mence is just going for it. Blissey enters now. There's definitely a Brick Break crit chance there. Dave not going, or excuse me, Mangoose not going for it. Understandably, I mean, you feel ahead. You don't really have to. But yeah, I do think this game should just come down. Ooh, that's an interesting entry. I mean, it is, it's relatively safe. Starmie can afford to not click recover that turn. Okay, Mence just accepting the T-Wave, which I think is fair. I mean, Tar is so weak that you don't really need Mence to check it. And if you can crit this Starmie, you can end the game faster. That being said, Blissey outspeeding Mence is kind of an issue. But if you can take out one of the 2 Natural Cure Pokemon, you kind of just win with Toxic eventually. And this is a line that saves some PP on Jirachi from Mangoose. Yeah, just crit odds. Mence actually hasn't been full parried yet. Definitely overdue for that. We're going to see it this turn. No, we're not. I really expected to see it that turn, actually. Sometimes you can just, like, know when the Hax is coming, right? Like, beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, and the hidden powers are actually outpacing the recovers. I would say this is still very much Starmie favored because of the para chances. Maybe like long term, it's Mence favored just because you can crit eventually even through full paras. And it seems like the low roll. Oh, no. So a low roll is below 50. So if this Starmie is max HP after a full para turn, which still hasn't happened. This is remarkable, actually. That's like crazy. Did Thunderwave actually get clicked? Maybe Gold Mason is coping. But it is possible for this Starmie to be full HP, eat a crit, low roll, hidden power grass, and live the crit. But to be full HP, you need a para turn, of which hasn't happened yet, which is like, what is going on? Is this Mence actually going to run out of hidden powers before getting parried? Like, what is actually happening? Folks in the comments, feel free to run the numbers, because I can't do that right now. I'm obviously a little busy. Still no full para. It has used at least like conservatively guessing, because it has used some, there we go. It has used some hidden powers before getting parried, but that was like at least 15 turns in a row of what I'm assuming is 75% chance to act. You know, that compounded that many times, that is very, very unlikely to happen. Not super consequential to the game overall, but still remarkable. There's the crit. Okay, it's going to be Dirty Dave, and now things kind of just fall apart. Mence is Toxic. Starmie can just come in and click Surf. Mence has to worry about... I mean, Starmie can just Surf on Mence, I feel like. Nope, Claydol goes down. Not going to preserve that. The Blissey outspeeds this Mence, so any amount of chip basically guarantees that even especially defensive invested Salamence will die to the already revealed Ice Beam. A comical full para there, not going to really matter in the overall grand scheme of things. And this ended up being a long one. Wow. Yeah, there's the crit. Yet again, this Mence still never hit that crit it needed to on Starmie, but also was never getting full parried, so not super haxy in that regard. Crazy game. Many turns there. I was expecting some speed up, but there was always kind of things happening, so I guess that ended up going kind of long. Oh, Jesus, it's 20-minute game one, huh? Oh, Lord. Interesting set. There's interesting match, however, game, battle. Because, I mean, it was going either way. Like, Dave looked lost. It looked like Jirachi just kind of destroyed everything. Or rather, that Suicune could just come in whenever and win. It did eat a crit, but it was also, like, very, very, very low. And, yeah. And then it just looked like Dave kind of would win just by switching back and forth between Starmie and Blissey. Then that game plan it didn't really fall apart, but changed, and yeah, was able to find the win when all is said and done. So yeah, what a first game. I'm going to take a sip of tea as we anticipate what we might see for this game 2. Alright, so T-Tar lead versus Medicham. At least there's some offense here, and there's sand. We're not going to 128 turns, I predict. Although there was sand in the last game. Celebi enters, click Psychic here, Medicham staying in, yeah, very much indicates it has a move to click here, that being Shadow Ball. Celebi was faster though, so it could find the KO here. Goes for Hidden Power Fire, great click there, nice mid-ground, because it would have KO'd the Medicham anyway, but it could catch something like a Psychic Resist coming in, such as a Metagross. Lands the crit, which is huge. But yeah. And Celebi just happy to trade damage. Landing a Psychic here on the DD Mence. And yeah, a lot of value actually from the Celebi. Mence gets +2, but if there's like a pert in the back, then it's not going to be sweeping. Celebi will go down here, and we'll see what the DD Mence answer is. It is a Swampert. Mangoose actually taken quite some time to send out the pert there. Oh no! Clicks Pump and misses. It is Salac. You know what? Pump was probably the only attack it could have clicked there. Seemed like it was a sub Salac or a sub Endeavor Salac. Oh, Registeel is a fine answer though. It's a crit though, so that might mean the now intimidated Mence Earthquake puts it in range. Oh my god, just barely outside. Okay, let's regroup here for a second and talk about what's been going on. So, Pert missed a pump. That would be like a huge misplay if you have an Ice Beam to click. But a set like this with Salac very much indicates that it is going to be Hydro Pump, Substitute, and Endeavor, and then some fourth move, which is often like Roar, for example. Could be something, but I would have assumed that if it could be like Earthquake even. If Mangoose had a fully accurate move to click into that very threatening Mence, because yes, Pert is a good answer into Mence, but a Salac Pert is very much offensively oriented, very little defensive investment, which is why it took like 90% from a Hidden Power Flying from the +2 Mence. Right, and then just shuffling things around. The crit almost putting Registeel into Earthquake range. Mangoose finding a nice little opportunity to get the Intimidate off with their own Mence, which absolutely mattered here. And Registeel was probably within like a roll there. But yeah. So, we're caught up now, and Metagross finding an attack raise. Here comes Raikou, which will be able to KO Metagross from 40, I believe. Lax, looking like a big pest. Pert without Salac now, having switched out, is like really annoying, because you'd love to be able to send in Pert and threaten a Endeavor on this Lax, just get it out of the way for your Raikou. But, yeah, Pert can just switch out into Medicham, exactly. Clicks Pump misses again, got the turn right, but unfortunately, yeah. Raikou eats a big Brick Break on the entry. Medicham probably getting sacked off here. Mangoose going down to 5 seconds. Yeah, definitely looking dire here. And keep in mind, with 4 Pokemon still, yeah, Raikou going down now, 4 Pokemon still for Dirty Dave, who is up a game. Mangoose timer, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds here. Going all in on the DD Tar. Gets boomed on. It's a Suicune, which should just win here, right? You need some flinches. Okay, there's 1 flinch. You still need a second flinch to land to not just lose to this Suicune clicking Surf. And you get it, okay? Keep in mind, Meta took some chips, so it will die to a +1 Earthquake. Mangoose goes Meta, which might indicate the last is like maybe a Heracross or something not equipped to... Oh, it's it's obviously Magneton, yeah. I knew it was Magneton earlier and I didn't mention it. Wow. That was something else. Mangoose just barely able to cling on. And we're going to a game 3. Yeah, this one was not a 20-minute game. Much shorter, in fact. But, yeah, crazy stuff there. And, I mean, to be fair, like, Mangoose obviously found the hacks there to flinch down the Suicune, but, like, the pump miss... I mean, Pert missed 2 out of 2 pumps, but one of them was like really, really huge in that it was gonna KO a Mence that ended up getting so much chip onto Mangoose's own Mence and brought Registeel down to 1%. Like, if Pert KO'd that Mence with the Hydro Pump, then you're getting a Salac boosted Endeavor off on something else, and nothing else really wants to take that. You can't do it on Medi, because Medi had already taken some chip. You would just die to pump. You'd probably just sack Magneton off to that. And then from there, you have the full HP Registeel, you have the full HP Salamence, and it's a much easier game to play for Mangoose. So the late game hacks did counteract some early game hacks as well. But yeah, going into game 3, exciting stuff. I didn't really want to, like, I knew that there were 3 games because there were 3 tabs open here for me to watch. But yeah, after the 20-minute game 1, I'm like, Jesus, these guys don't know what they're getting. Okay, Skarm vs. Mence. Skarmory clicks spikes on the mag entry, finds the KO, and it will be Arrow scaring out Magneton. We do see the safe Earthquake click, which does let in Mence for free, and goes for a Dragon Claw. A lot of damage to Pert, maybe another Endeavor Pert. Didn't see leftovers, so probably another Endeavor Pert. And looking like a standard Mixed Mence here with the Dragon Claw and the Hidden Power Grass. Lax in again. Honestly, similar structures from both players overall. Definitely more like the arrows new from Mangoose. But the Mence, Lax, Mag, wow, that's a big burn. Yeah, that is definitely a big burn. And T-Tar looking like maybe a Pursuitar with Fire Blast. Yeah, it's Crunch here. And we do just see the boom. But the fact that it was a burned boom means only doing 50%. In comes Magneton, which is looking kind of threatening. Pert enters, but Magneton could be faster with a Hidden Power Grass. Yup. Just like that, Pert goes down. You can never know because Mags do love to run Hidden Power Fire for Forretress. But when, and especially when Dr. Dirty Dave has a Hidden Power Grass Salamence, you're expecting maybe more fire coverage on the Magneton. Was not the case here, and that likely Endeavor Pert goes down. But yes, still very similar teams, I would say. Double out from Registeel, which I say similar team because it is, again, an Endeavor Pert plus a Registeel from Mangoose. Okay, and Arrow has not been getting these clicks right so far. Going to be forced to sack off T-Tar now to the Mence. And some nice defensive synergy here between the Magneton and the Salamence. Arrow now re-entering. Do you click EQ here? I would click EQ here. Okay, perfect. Yep. There goes Mag, and now Arrow probably feeling a lot safer to just click Rock Slide in the future, but, I mean, how many future clicks are you going to have? Because the engine's running a little dry. T-Tar is getting sacked off here, but Suicune might just be able to set up in front of it. Actually click Surf, which I don't know about, because what is that T-Tar doing to you, right? Like, the worst physical move it's going to have is, like, a Rock Slide, and even then, it's, like, not that invested. If this is a bold Suicune, like, it would be happy to set up on non-DD Tars. Anyway, finds a big crit onto Registeel. Looks like this game is kind of unraveling. Nope, never mind. Suicune does get taken out by the boom. Zap in on Hera. This is going to come down to the wire. Rock Slide, faster Heracross. Jesus, finds a crit there. Heracross can just be naturally faster than and also, like, this game is kind of over, I think, because of just Intimidate cycling. Because now you can just sack something off. Actually, sacking the Mence off. Okay. I guess Dr. Dirty Dave thinks that their last is enough to deal with just a -1 arrow, which is probably true because there's no rock resist revealed yet, so it might just be like a Metagross or something. Would make sense here. So yeah, crazy stuff there. Much more confident game 3 here from Dr. Dirty Dave, but I am also still surprised that Suicune didn't just take the opportunity to try and set up on that weak T-Tar that was really just trying to get sacked off, but, like, you know, to sack off a Pokemon to a setup sweeper, you kind of need to be able to threaten it enough to where you don't let it set up, right? But anyway, Dave gonna win anyway. And I gotta say, very happy with the random selection here that I've been going with so far. Because, yeah, these two players I had not heard of before. I've heard of a Mangoose before. It was like a large Mangoose or something has been playing in other tours I've seen. But Mangoose49, not an alias I've seen, nor has Dr. Dirty Dave been. But they provided us with an absolute banger of a series. And you can all agree by clicking the subscribe button to this channel, by leaving a like on this video. And look at this, we ended up being like a normal length video for a best of 3 series, even just because it was 50 turns total for game 2 and 3, and 130 for game 1. But nonetheless, that's how she goes sometimes. And all 3 games very exciting. All 3 games pretty back and forth as well. So yeah, great stuff overall. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this tournament has for us in the future. But for now, I've been Wild Rumpus. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more Revival 3 in the future.